Yo, what's going on, guys? Koi here. Today, I want to do a game review because this is a game that I kind of had a little bit of high hopes for. That when it was like, kind of when it released, I was like, okay, a new turn-based anime game. I've been looking for something like this because Anime Impact updates like a slow snail on gravel. So it's like, you know what I mean? And with that being the case, I just wanted to take a look at this game, and I did. And I think that this game stepped out of the cooker way too early. And I just want to like point out some reasons why so other people in the future can know that this is not how you do some things and what have they done well out of all those things. So, first things first, let's go ahead and talk about the characters. Now, the units in the game are very, very unbalanced. Now, the reason I say that is because you have these characters that have really, really cool abilities. Like, let's say Piccolo, he gains HP whenever he does his special beam cannon. Is there a way I can know that? No, there is not a single way I can know that. The only thing I can see is his stats. And I can't understand what like his moves are. Like that's information I'm not getting, and information is key, especially in a game about tactics. If I could see all the information on all the little blue characters I had, I wouldn't have had to play every single blue character to figure out what they had and slow down my entire progress in the game. That's just me though. Let's see. So that was a big problem. The other problem is no auto sell in the game. Like that's just kind of quality of life. I understand you could just fuse them into these guys, but honestly, the leveling curve in this game is so drastic to the point where it took me hours to get these guys to even level 15, and like it was just like a lot of work. Then, if you check out the scaling between the different rarities, as you can see, well, you're gonna see this, right? You're gonna see like his damage, his HP, but it's incredibly drastic. The second you get to purples, then you're like, okay, these purples, they're starting to do decent damage. Some are way faster than others. They have a lot more HP. All the purples have a lot more HP. Some of them do even a lot more damage. And you could say because of the stats. And then you look like someone like you get to legendaries, and it's like, whoa, these dudes are like, they're going to be the first ones to hit everything. They're going to be the strongest ones, and they're going to have a lot more HP. And it's like, okay, so if you want to compete in this game, you got to get legendaries and secret units. But that's not very fun. That's the problem, especially because of the way that the leveling works. I can't have fun with these characters. I have to mid max. I have to see who's good, who's bad. And by the way, there's a lot of characters that are terrible in this game. For instance, Piccolo, he has a very cool defensive move, but he is very slow and he doesn't do much damage. You look at a character that's like, and I know you could say because of the stat, but the stat is very drastic on different characters, and using a stat cube barely changes it in any way, shape, or form. I tested this, and it's like it's not that big of a deal. But then we have like the stats here where it's like Meliodas has got really good speed, decent damage, and then good HP. But then his like debuff that's supposed to actually critically make someone slower doesn't even work the way that it's intended. It doesn't like slow them down even a little bit. If you're fighting against someone who's in the Soul Society, you'll start to see that the drastic difference in their speed compared to every other character here, like for instance, they're faster than every single purple character. There's not a purple character that could keep up with those guys, and you'd have to get like a legendary or even maybe Meliodas, because Meliodas I think is like the fastest purple, and even at that, that's just not fun because you have no chance in Soul Society. Even with this really good kit, I still struggle with Soul Society because it requires levels, it requires HP, it requires speed, it requires damage, and you could barely get that. It's criminally underdeveloped, and there's no way to actually get your hands on that stuff. But there's plenty of game passes. Oh man, and two times speed game pass, display all units game pass. This is like not too good at all. Just because yes, you're selling a product, but at the same time, the gameplay is so lackluster, especially whenever we actually get into the game. You play this versus Anime Impact, you're not having a good time. We'll get into the gameplay right now. I just wanted to talk about some things such as like the rerolls, the luck potions. Honestly, if I'm going to be incredibly honest, the traits in this game are the most balanced traits I've ever seen in any game. These are actually incredibly good traits. For instance, speed increase only, but a little bit of damage. This one's Furious, where you kind of focus a little more on damage and speed, and then you also get a health increase. That's pretty cool. And then you get into these really good ones where it's like, these this Emperor one, they could have stopped at Emperor. Outlaw makes no sense, but it's very broken. But, Emperor would have been the stopping point if you wanted to keep the balance. But Outlaw is just overdoing it. You kind of like spilled over the milk a little bit. But the rest of these incredibly balanced. Like the powerful three still feels very useful. The rapid three still feels very useful. So if you even get I mean, even if you get like the speed, you want to get like speed, you want to get lightning speed 2 instead. So we're going to go for something better. We did get lightning speed 2. Oh, we got it again. Well, there's not much I could do there. But, that and it costs 3 for him. It costs 2 for these guys, and then it costs 1 for, like, rares, which you would think would be like, okay, this is kind of the moment where you want to use these guys, but their stats are so low in the game to the point where even if you add this 10%, 20% buff, their stats are so detrimentally low for most of these little blue guys to the point where none of them can really dish out. Like for one, Gray. Gray is the lowest HP out of all the blues, but he has the highest damage out of all the blues, and he just gets insta wiped, and it's just very, very tough. And there's a reason why people don't want to sit here and grind the leveling status, because it's too much. There's too much to do. The stat cubes, I'm going to just show you the difference. So this is technically what's called balance stats. So let's see the change here. Well, 1 point to 2 points of change. And that is not a lot of change. The stat cubes, like the stat bonuses in this game don't mean a lot. They really don't. There are evolutions, so you can evolve a character, like getting Ichigo to that next level. The evolutions are incredibly quick to get. I'm not gonna lie to you. Awakening them is not that hard. That's actually the best part about this entire game. The only issue is getting enough coin, getting the materials, but the challenges are honestly not that hard. And they're not like 30 minutes away challenges. They actually, they're pretty fast. For instance, if we check out challenges, as you can see, you have the 30-minute timer, but these things are incredibly fast and easy to do. Such as, let's say we want to go for this one, and let's get into the gameplay. So the gameplay was a little janky at first. I didn't understand it myself, but then I got into the game and I was like, okay, this is kind of like, copyright music central and all that good stuff. So there we go. Uh, Now the gameplay, I didn't understand it at first because, one, I can't read my skills. I can't read what these things do. I don't know what I'm doing. The damage meter does nothing for me besides telling me that I'm doing more damage than anyone who wants to play the game with me. By the way, I couldn't get a single one of my friends to play this game with me because of how detrimentally slow it is. There is a speed boost, 1 point that you could spend the Robux, but I wouldn't. Honestly, that should have just been a slice of life feature. Autoplay is locked until you get to level 5, so you're going to be playing Fairy Tail into Dragon Ball level and still not being able to use autoplay. And then even if you use autoplay, the autoplay ruins the entire game because they actually stop you from using these moves. They stop trying to use these moves. All your characters do. So like I said, Ichigo is always going to be first. There is an elemental factor, obviously, so the elements are different. There is a speed factor. So I would be getting rid of someone like one of these guys first. There are like some really good passive skills, and then there's some really bad passive skills. For instance, bleed is based off your damage, so I mean some of that bleed is very, very good for certain characters. And then you have stuff like the slowness that does nothing for anyone, which I'll show you right now. So we're gonna slow down this dude. Oh wait, yeah, it does stuff for him. I mean, it killed him, so I can't really showcase that part. But it is what it is. I'm gonna kill this guy. As you can see, I'm playing like the second hardest stage in the game. These dudes are still being able to tank someone like level 15 Sanji. By the way, the damage buffs, all that stuff is very, very cool. The fact that some of these characters get this in the game, some of them add on to that in the game, it feels really good. I like that. It's just that I wish that I knew what I was doing. I don't know the full capabilities of all these characters. Now, if I do use autoplay, you'll see that they actually do run through the circuit, so it's very, very good. The only problem is that they won't use that second skill. They'll only use their first skill every single time. And the other problem I have with autoplay is that they added that same freaking system where it's like they won't kill the character, but they'll start getting all the other characters around it lower. And by the way, I haven't seen a lick of AoE in this game. Like it's all just been straight up moves that you think would AoE just don't AoE. Like how come the Dragon Ball like burst attack, the energy ball just doesn't AoE everybody next to him? It just makes things very, very rough. So I can't really say too much about that. Well, that kind of does it for me, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Freaking, this is kind of the do's and don'ts of Roblox video games these days. There's a reason why this game got like 20 players on release, and then after that just kept going even further. Even like, it's criminally underdeveloped. And I hope that the developers can bring this back, put it like close the game, put it back on the board, just like add the systems, don't be lazy. Just continuously add these systems that need to be added to the game, such as like information and stuff like that, information that people need to know. Like there's some really cool things that I've seen in this game that I haven't seen in something like Anime Impact. Like I haven't seen that defensive perk where you get overshield. At least I haven't played Anime Impact in that long, but let's be honest, all they did was add that JJK update and dip. So more games in this circuit could lead to far better games or even better development. It's just a matter of really putting in that time and effort. But, we'll see what happens. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell down below. I will see you guys later. Take it easy and peace out.